My name is Vipin. Today I'm going to the slide presentation of the human immunity. The main topics I'm going to explain here are the immunity, the protection from infection, the transmission, and the first and second layer of defense, and the third line of immunity, then self-recognition and tolerance, and the two specific immune system disorder, and the categories of acquired immunity, and the immunological memory, and the vaccination concept of the herd immunity, and the last is the benefit of the vaccination. The First, we are just telling about the immunity protect us from infection. As always, the microorganisms like the bacteria, virus enter through the body, through the mouth, nose, and skin cuts to cause an illness. And single-celled organisms called bacteria are responsible for diseases including pneumonia and meningitis. And in contrast of the bacteria, the virus require a host to reproduce and survive. The viral illness like chickenpox and the common are the examples. And the transmission in many forms. There are mainly three type of transmissions, that is direct contact, indirect contact, and food contamination. The direct contact means the direct touch is the most straightforward way to catch the illness and infection, and the person or the kind comes in contact with a direct person, it can cause the infection. Second one is the indirect contact, when you touch an object that has been touched by an infected person or of animal, and with this way we can make the contaminants. And next is the food contamination. The contamination of water and food can result in infection or a disease. Next is the immunity. And we all know that the largest organ in our body is the skin, which play an important role in between the internal organs. It acts as a barrier between the internal organs and outside the world. And we know the skin they play a major role preventing the infectious infection entering into our body. The skin mainly consists of three parts, that is the epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous layer. The first one is the epidermis layer. The epidermis layer is the outermost layer that which act as a mechanical barrier that between the invaders and the internal organs. The second one is the dermis. The dermis is the middle layer of the skin which contains many specialized structures such as blood vessels, nerve ending, and hair follicles. The last one is the subcutaneous layer. It is the deepmost layer. It is mostly made up of fat, consists of connective tissue, larger blood vessels, and nerve. It acts as a shock absorber, protecting our body. And this is the diagram of the skin anatomy. And the next another example for the first line defense is the mucous membrane. The mucous membrane line the surface of our eyes, ears, and the nose, throat, and gaseous respiratory, regional, and vaginal system. It acts as a primary link between the environment that are made of our body and the outside world. And the mucous membrane, which only allows what the nutrients we need, and it prevent the other unwanted things to entering into our body. The best example for the mucus is the nasal passage. It's a network of capillary blood veins can be found in beneath the skin. These veins are lined the mucus secreting cells. And the nasal cavity has the first line of defense for the respiratory system. Our nasal cavity filter above the stop the passage into the body because human cannot distinguish between different microorganisms when we breathe. This is the various type of mucus that present in our body. Next one is the pathogen. When the pathogen enters into the skin or body, generate a inflammatory reaction. The inflammatory reaction is a set of physical characters that act in the response to the invasion of a foreign body or pathogen. The first response is when they increase the blood flow to the site of injury, which brings the white blood cells and cause inflammations. As a result, increase the blood count to the site of injury. The another one is the fever. The fever is also triggered up by a broad the blood rush, and the boost body temperature stimulate an antibiotic response that lasts until the illness is treated. The phagocytes are the largest white blood cells that's consuming foreign substance and containing protein like cytokines, which are tiny protons. This is the immune system protect from the pathogen. And the microbial pathogen is one that is an elect an immunological response. that can brought on by bacteria. The virus, fungi, and pesticides, etc., our antigen must be present on the pathogen in order to our body to recognize that it has been attacked. Next one is the acute immunity. The acute immunity describes the immune system as a capacity to identify and to react to a particular information or the antigen that has been previously encountered. Through this infection or vaccination, a person can become exposed to a pathogen and develop this sort of immunity. And we know white blood cells. The white blood cells are called leukocytes. The leukocytes, there are mainly five different types of leukocytes. The first one is the monocytes. The monocytes are the largest among these. They are produced from the bone marrow and which produce 5 to 10 percentage of blood vessels in our body. The next one is the eosinophils. The eosinophils is known for the allergies and infections, which produce 0.5 to 1 percentage of the white blood cells in your body. And next one is the neutrophils. The neutrophils with a level of 40 to 60 percentage of neutrophils are produced. These are the which are uneven nuclei and they are smaller in size. And the third one and the fourth one is the lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are which are also produced from the bone marrow. It's also produced from the it produce 80 to 20 percentage, 42 percentage of white blood cells. And the last one is the basophil. It's a least common type of blood cells can found in variety of human tissues. They release histamine and which is used for prevent for allergic reaction, which are the blood thinner and antibodies. These are the various type of white blood cells, that is monocytes, eosinophils, basophil, lymphocytes, and neutrophils. Next one is about the immunoglobulin. There are the immunoglobulins are the antibodies that produced by the basophils, and which provide a variety of functions to especially to protect our body from invading of the pathogens. There are mainly five type of immunoglobulins, that is A, D, E, G, and M. The first one is the IgG, that's immunoglobulin G. It is the most common immunoglobulin that is able to access to create a direct act on anything that has been dangerous to our body. And G is the only kind of antibodies that can transfer from a placenta to the fetus. And next one is IgA. IgA play a important defense role in mucus for a mucous membrane. For example, inside the mouth. And the next one is IgM. The IgM comprises of 5 monomer immunoglobulin is to create a pentamer, and it is the first immunoglobulin to appear at the first sign of antigen. Next one is IgE. IgE respond to the parasitic infections and allergic reactions, and the D act as an antigen receptor for the B cells. These are the various kind of immunoglobulins. That's immunoglobulin G, E, D, IgA, and M. Next one is the self-recognition and tolerance, and its ability of the immune system to distinguish between self and non-self antigens, and to refrain attacking the body cells and tissues. This is important for maintaining the integrity of the body and preventing the autoimmune disorder. This immune system has a several mechanisms to place to achieve a self-tolerance. One mechanism is the process of colonial deletion, in which the developing T cells that resisting a self antigens and or enter non-functional. Another mechanism is the process of energy, in which the T cells that recognize the self antigens are unresponsive. Additionally, the regulatory T cells, sometimes referred to as TREGs, support the maintenance of self tolerance by immunological reaction to self antigen. However, the immune system will attempt to reject transplant organs because it perceives the foreign substance. Uh, this is because of this transplant rejection is body immune system with a reaction to an organ transplant. These are about the self-recognition and the tolerance. The next one is the different types of autoimmune disorder. There are mainly two type of autoimmune diseases. The first one is the rheumatoid arthritis. The rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammatory condition called in where the arthritis damages or inflames the tissues around the joints. It but that's called the rheumatoid arthritis. This can cause inflammation, discomfort, and functional loss, and it can also joint abnormalities and this type of rheumatoid is mainly seen in between 14 and 16 ages, and this can be happened in the where the joints, hands, knees, feet, everywhere where the joints there, this can be happen, and it is more prevalent in women. Next one is the lupus. The lupus can be seen in skin, joints, kidneys, brains, hair, are the few organs that can be found. This lupus is a chronic autoimmune condition. It's a reason why the normal health tissues is mistakenly attacked by the immune system. That can cause the lupus. And few symptoms of lupus are the which can manifest the kidney failure, anemia, blood cells, and can cause inflammation, discomfort, and destruction. And this type of disease are mainly seen in women. And this through the surgery, a combination of medicine we are used to treat this. This is a various area where the variable lupus symptoms can be offered. Next one is acute immunity, refer to the ability of the immune system to recognize and respond to specific pathogens or antigens that it has been previously encountered. There are several different categories of acute immunities. That is, normally we know that it's active, passive, and natural immunities are there. And unlike in order to trigger an immune system, a pathogen did weaken or introduced into the body. And as a result, the immune system is able to identify the virus and create an immunity to without the person getting sick, and this is called active process. Unlike from the passive immunity, and this immunity typically lasts for a long time, offer many compressive protection. When a person is exposed to a disease, mounts an immune response and response while in the infection progress normally. This is known as natural immunity. This kind of immunity frequently transits could not be of a full defense against. By acquiring antibodies from another person, one gains passive immunity. The natural occurrence like woman passing an antibodies to her body baby through the placenta of a plasmica example how this can happen. This is an example for the natural immunity. The next one is these are the different type of immunity and its types. That's immunity, mainly adaptive immunity and initiative immunity. This adaptive immunity is mainly natural and artificial. This natural immunity are mainly from passive and active, and the same the artificials are consists of passive and active. And the next, we're going to tell about the immunological memory. That's immunological memory refers to an immune system capacity reacted to a disease it has been already exposed. When a pathogen is the first time, it's a reaction. It takes some time for the B cell to locate the proper antibody and being attacking. But doing so give the infection time to persist and manifest symptoms. When something new is occurred, the memory cells are released and helping the body to remember the right antibody for a subsequent response. The immune system will manufacture and a greater number of antibodies far quickly and before any symptoms ever appear. The same pathogen is met again in the second response. Through vaccination, the immune system of the body is exposed to virus. It has been weakened or rendered harmless. The live and inactivated vaccination came in several activities. The components of live vaccination are lab weakened virus and bacteria. When using live vaccination, the small dosage of virus or bacteria is administered. This replicate the body of develop enough to bacteria to provoke immune response and cause our antibodies to go through a kind of simulation before we run into one the active case of that disease. As the first damage of dosage of an inactivated vaccination simply serves to prepare the body of a second dose. Immunity is not confirmed after the first dose. That information that the gut stored in our immune system and is known as immunological memory. And in here we are going to tell about the pre-vaccination and the post-vaccinations. The immunization protect against the dangerous illness. The antibiotics cannot treat viral illness. The only method of control is vaccination. Even though the disease like polio and measles still persist, the childhood vaccination program offer high protection from major sequelae than it did before the introduction of the vaccines. The vaccines have a widespread of global benefit, annually save the NHS thousands of dollars, and the number of measles cases has steadily decreased from 1940 to 2020. According to the government health security department, increased immunization rate have been reduced the males related mortality from 857 in 1940 to just 1 in 2000. So there have been more than 2 disease related deaths annually since 2000. Additionally, it increased life expectancy and reduced antibiotic resistance. For example, according to ONS, the statistics life expectancy was only 76 in 1980 and in 83. Now it's had been come to 83 in 2020. This is partially caused by fewer diseases, more static life expectancy. Finally, the most important factor behind vaccination is herd immunity. The Unfortunately, there have been numerous vaccination-related health scares in recent years, which has led to some disinformation and implicit reports. The people find it quite challenging to find information regarding the vaccines as a result. For instance, the new research showed that the flu vaccines lowers the risk of flu sickness among the general population by 40% to 60%, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. However, due to the worries about the contracting flu and other severe deaths affect the vaccination, and many people still choose not to get vaccinated. We sometimes mistakenly assume that the non-professionals such as friends, families, and co-workers as one of we trust the most, despite the fact that the doctor or a chemist may di- dispel these myths. The disease rates have been decreased as a result of the childhood vaccinations, and the World Health Organization declared the UK to be the measles-free in 2016. Okay, thank you.